on Sunrise Highway, and as you can see, lots of emergency vehicles still behind me. There's still a lot of smoke in the air, but much better. Nothing like it was earlier. You look up and you don't see that thick, heavy black smoke that we've been seeing all day. Still a lot of hot spots, though, but the guys who've been going into the woods have told us that it's looking a lot better in there. And with me now is Lieutenant Ray Dion from Quorum Fire Department. Is that right, Lieutenant? Yeah. Okay, so what do you see in there? Tell us what's going on, what you guys are doing.
Well, right now we're mopping up in a lot of different areas. In this area right now, we have the fire under control and hoping that it doesn't restart again. It's very dry. The ground is dry. The mulch is catching on. There's a lot of smoke there. But right now, everything is under control around this area right here.
Is there concern about the wind whipping up again? I mean, it seems to have died down, but...
I hope it doesn't happen again, because then we have a problem. It starts all over again.
Now, what does it look like in there? I mean, still flames, or is it just mostly hot spots?
It's hot spots right now that we're hitting. So.
Now, how are you guys holding up? I mean, have you guys had to take a break? Have you been able to rest a little bit now?
We've probably got about maybe 15 hours worth of sleep this week between Rocky Point and this area itself. We've been standing by at the firehouse to replace most of the guys that were out of here, and then we come out and they go home and get some sleep if they can. But most of them were so hepped up, they don't go to sleep.
Sure. Now that it seems to have calmed down and you said looks much better in there, can you guys kind of take a breather, let your hair down a little bit?
Well, we're taking a breather, but we're just hoping that it's finished before this weekend happens. Tonight it would be beautiful if it finished, so that way we can enjoy our weekend and get some rest.
Okay, great. Thank you, Lieutenant Ray Dion. Take care. So as you can see, finally things are getting better. I think the conditions are helping, the wind dying down a little bit, and also they said once those planes started going overhead, those helicopters and dumping the water, that was a big, big help. So finally, looks like things are calming down a little bit. We're in West Hampton. I'm Lisa LaRocca. Let's go back to the studio.
All right, thanks, Lisa. Lisa there on Sunrise Highway, which tonight at least seemed to be the biggest battleground. Yesterday it was more fighting off Montauk Highway. The fire, if we could show you a map, actually began just south of the Riverhead area. If you see that the red line is the expressway, if you can see the expressway right around exit 71 there, kind of in the center of your screen, just south of that in the Riverhead area is where the fire began. That was on Thursday afternoon, losing track of time here, Thursday afternoon, and it began to move south very quickly, moving down, hopping over Sunrise Highway. You see Route 27 there. For a time, that was the big battleground, whether or not it would reach Sunrise. It not only reached Sunrise, it hopped over it with relative ease, started making its way down to the road farthest to the south, Montauk Highway 27A. And that's where yesterday the battle lines were really drawn, because that is the heavy populated areas of West Hampton Beach and Quogue, and that road just lined with store after store, restaurants. You're talking about a big tourist community down there. Everything north of that pretty much remote for the most part, although there are some strip malls and some homes, but the biggest population down south. What we saw today, however, was a little bit to the west on Sunrise Highway, west of around County Road 51 in that area. We saw some flare-ups, and for a time this afternoon, there was a fear that it would hop over Sunrise Highway on western portions, also where there are quite a few neighborhoods. So a very tricky fire that was moving really in a lot of different directions today, fanning out more to the east and the west than it was yesterday. The fire, last estimates, maybe about 6 miles in height, let's say, from north to south, and 2 to 3 miles from east. Welcome back. Our live coverage continues. The fires in West Hampton. That video actually taken probably mid to late this afternoon. That was the trickiest stand of today, actually. That was right along Suffolk, Sunrise Highway, along Spionk Riverhead Road. The fire coming in an amazingly fast area right along Sunrise Highway there, and for a moment it looked very clear that the fire was going to continue to the west and then hop right over south across Sunrise Highway. It did not. Firefighters making a very dramatic and successful stand. That fire really by the minute just got bigger and bigger. Actually, the fire, we were told yesterday, was moving at something like 650 feet per hour, about 10 feet per minute, and we could clearly see that taking place today. But again, this video taken earlier this afternoon, the fire actually, as quickly as it moved, almost as quickly it burned out, and the situation became safe there. We're going to go to our phones now and talk to Ken Johnson from Suffolk Fire Command. Ken, are you there?
Hello?
Hi, is this Ken?
Yes.
Hi, Ken. Doug Gee in the News 12 studios.
How are you?
Very good. How are you folks doing tonight?
Good, good.
I understand we had some fires outside of West Hampton. Is that correct?
No, well, I'm actually from the Nassau County Syosset Fire Department.
Syosset Fire Department.
Yes.
Okay, Ken. We have a fire up in Syosset Way?
Well, we had one up earlier on Jericho Turnpike and Underhill Boulevard, and we had to call two of our neighboring departments in to help us with that fire. At the Merritt gas station, we had an explosion at that location. So we were short some manpower due to our crews being out in Suffolk County, and we called on our neighbors to come in and help give us a hand.
Wow. Ken, when was that, did you say? This morning?
That was about 5:30, 6 o'clock this afternoon.
And you say an explosion by the gas station. Any idea what the cause of that was?
According to Chief Hendrickson, who was on the scene, he said that there was some work being done in the area, and they left a couple of 55-gallon drums, I believe, with gas, and with the heat and everything, they expanded and ignited the building and the dumpster that was there on fire.
Wow, that could have been a very, very tricky situation over there.
Yes, it could have been.
I grew up in Syosset, so I know that area, and I know on a Friday night around 5:30, traffic there, you can forget about it. That must have been some mess up there.
Yes, that was another thing that the chief had to handle at that point.
No injuries or anything?
No, no injuries at this time, no.
Ken, were you folks out in West Hampton? Well, they're saying every department on Long Island was, so obviously you folks, or some of you, were out West Hampton way.
Yes, we were out there. We still have an engine out there at this time as a support system to Suffolk County.
Did you have any trouble with your situation in Syosset, being that you had folks out east?
The only trouble we had is manpower, which, again, we called on our neighbors who come through 100% for us and helped us out.
Yeah, that's kind of a tricky thing for other departments on the island. You know, you help out. You know, you certainly go in on mutual aid, but you have your your own home front to watch after as well.
Exactly, exactly. But we all team together, like you've been saying, and we get the job done.
All right, very good. You sure have, Ken. Thanks very much for joining us.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, now we're going to go to News 12's Walt Kane, who's been out all day and all night in West Hampton. Walt.
Doug, certainly here in West Hampton, things have quieted down dramatically from the way they were earlier this afternoon. We spent a short time out with some firefighters in the fire zone. Let's see if we can take a look at some of that video now. This is members of the Santa Mauritius Fire Department. We rode out with them into the Pine Barrens in search of some hot spots, in search of some smoldering embers. We didn't find much, though, just a few embers here or there that firefighters quickly buried over or sprayed with a little bit of water or foam. Clearly a sign of how quickly it seems firefighters were finally able to turn the corner on this. When you look back to 3 o'clock in the afternoon with flames roaring over Sunrise Highway, threatening to jump across the highway for what would have been the third time, it clearly looked like there was no way that firefighters were going to get it under control, but now it appears that the fire is, in fact, if not under control, then well on its way toward going in that direction. We, in fact, have not been able to find any flames in our tour of the fire zone for about an hour, driving the perimeter on all sides and going into it with firefighters themselves. Certainly the awesome effort, the 1,500-plus firefighters, the ground and air assault, the Chinook helicopters, dumping gallons of water, seeming to finally pay off. But perhaps one of the firefighters told me the biggest thing here, the biggest factor, was that the wind, which had been whipping around, which had been fanning the flames, finally died down. Mother Nature, which firefighters had been their worst enemy, turned out in the end to be their best friend, helping them to put an end to the fire that had consumed 6,000 acres of Suffolk County Pine Barrens. In West Hampton, Walt Kane, News 12, Long Island. Back to you.
Walt, you mentioned the perimeters you were driving around. What are the basic perimeters now? Have they changed, or it's primarily Montauk Highway in the south? Or?
Still primarily Montauk Highway in the south. On the west, you're still looking primarily at Riverhead Spionk Road. The fire did jump, as you saw, 3 o'clock to the west, but it seemed to burn itself out, and that seems to be the perimeter that the firefighters and the police are still cordoning off. You're looking at the airport on the far eastern side, and frankly, I'm not fully sure of where the northern boundary would be. It'd be somewhere north of Sunrise Highway, but at this point, I'm not sure that that's that clearly defined.
Yeah, I guess pretty much where it started up around, you know, a little south of Riverhead. At no point it crossed over Montauk Highway, though, correct?
No, it never crossed over Montauk Highway. On the far eastern side, it appears from the pattern of the scorches that it got up to the airport, but never actually got any further. You can see the scorched earth leading all the way up to there and literally stopping there dead on the grounds of the airport.
Walter, from what you can see, what are firefighters doing here as the overnight approaches? I mean, are they going home? Do they sleep on site? What do they do?
Some of them are going home. Some of them are still here. It's difficult to gauge the big picture right now because about 5 o'clock, the media was pushed back away from the staging area. That was that overpass on Sunrise Highway by Riverhead Spionk Road where we were able to shoot many of the dramatic flame pictures that you were able to see this afternoon. We were moved away from there. We haven't been allowed back in because of the roadblocks. So we've been able to ride along with individual fire companies who we've gotten to know during the days of fighting not only this fire but the one in Rocky Point. And they've been able to ferry us around and we've been able to get some video that way that we wouldn't be able to get otherwise. But as far as actually being able to see that staging area, that's off limits right now. So it's difficult to generalize what firefighters as a whole are doing.
Walter, are you close to West Hampton Beach there, near the downtown area where you are now?
We're close. We're just south of Montauk Highway. We're not too terribly far from the downtown area. Things seem relatively calm here. Things seem pretty much back to normal, or as back to normal as you can. There are still tremendous roadblocks all over the place. Whole sections of Suffolk County are off limits to all but emergency personnel. But certainly the mood is far more optimistic now than it was 5 or 6 hours ago.
All right, well, thanks very much. West Hampton Beach there, obviously one of the big destinations for folks heading out for the weekend. Friday night, this would be, you know, very busy time with folks heading out, but Sunrise Highway, the main artery there, is closed in that one section. So we're looking for routes a little bit to the east, taking the expressway out to exit 71, and then down Route 24 into the Hampton Bays area. That section right in the middle there of Sunrise Highway, that is all closed off. So again, County Route 111, you can see from exit 70 of the expressway. That's the main route that's usually taken by folks headed out east. Don't take that route tonight if you're heading out. Continue on the express.